I am so tired of you acting like you speak for the people of the state of Indiana or the city of Indianapolis. You do not speak for me or anyone I know. Now listen, you two jerks. Jerks on the right.
We're back. You guys, hello. Happy Monday. Happy St. Patrick's Day. If you're not wearing green, consider yourself pinched. If you are wearing green, consider yourself kissed.
There you go.
You guys, it's so great to be back. I had a really great week last week. I'll tell you about it in just a second. Let me tell you what's coming up on the show first, okay? Dems are mad about deported gang members and horrible poll numbers. It's the first thing.
They're mad.
The United States is finally done being the world's doormat. California, the legislature is praying to Beyonce. WTF, Mock. and Uber elites are mad at Gavin Newsom. All that and so much more coming up on the show today. I'm so excited to be back. You guys, make sure that you subscribe to our podcast today on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Tell people about it. All you have to do is click the subscribe button. You just click.
So easy.
Okay. And then you click the share button and then just tell a friend. You just tell them. You can do that. And then you can find us on all the places, all the things, chicksontheright.com/links. That's right? It's been a week.
That's right.
Okay.
Chicksontheright.com/links. And don't forget to include the triple W. I've figured out that that's a thing.
The triple W, www.com. Okay.
No.
Got it.
www.chicksontheright.com/links.
You got it. Yes, you guys, thank you. So first of all, I want to thank everybody for all the, I have green on. This is green. This is army green.
Yeah, that's green. That's totally
green.
legit green. It's not Kelly, but like it's green.
Right. It's
in the green family.
It's my color wheel of green. Okay. You guys, first of all, I wanted to thank everybody for the prayers for Astrid. It was very sweet what you said when I was gone, Mock. That's like the one, I didn't listen to a lot of the show, but I listened to that and it was very sweet what you said. It was very unexpected. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I don't want to get all emotional, but I'm going to miss her. We spread our ashes across the pasture this past weekend. We got her ashes and I'm going to miss her. She was a good girl. She was the goodest girl. So
she was a really good fat butted girl.
She was. So you guys, thank you for all of that. And we had a good time. My daughter and I had a good time this past week. The greatest time. So much fun. The only thing that I will tell you, and then I swear we're going to get on with the show, that I have a bone to pick with Florida about, because I drove like 1,000 miles last week. And when I say I drove 1,000 miles, I'm not exaggerating. I did 1,000 miles of driving, a little bit over, in Florida last week. You guys, the speed limit in Florida is stupid. What are y'all doing in Florida? I'm a Texan, so I'm used to like 80 miles an hour as a speed limit. You Floridians and you're like 55 miles an hour. Come on now. Somebody in the legislature's got to change that.
That's pretty bad.
It's out of control. It's the only thing I didn't like about Florida. Everything else, it was great. We had a wonderful time. So thank you to anybody and everybody in Florida who was just nice, and the weather was great and we had a really great time. So
yay.
I'm glad to be back.
I am super glad to have you back. Chad was a fine fill-in, but it's just not the same. And so very, very glad that you are back. And by the way, South Carolina drivers, not great. At least in my area. Not good. Yeah, it's not good here.
Yeah, they don't know how to be in like the left hand, like in Texas, if you're driving and like there's a left lane and a right lane, even if people are in the left-hand lane and they see you coming, they don't just get over to the right lane. They will move over to the shoulder. It's
my gosh.
I think you were with me one time and somebody did that. And I was telling you, like in Texas, they will move to they're like, oh, you're going fast. I'll move to the shoulder. Right.
Yeah. I'm going to just get out of your way. It's not like that here either.
They understand that people in Texas want to go fast.
They got places to go.
That's right. I can't drive 55, y'all. I can't. Can't do it.
Oh my gosh. Well, you missed quite a bit of news. I had expected that maybe shows would be shorter, but they ended up not being shorter because there was just so much to get to.
And, a lot of stuff going on.
There was just a lot of stuff. And there's been a lot of stuff this weekend. We, of course, closed out the week wondering, are we going to shut this government down or not? I was kind of all for it. And by the end of the week, I was just like, let's shut it down, you know? But ultimately, we did not have a shutdown. And of course, there's a lot of people that are furious at Chuck Schumer about it, which we will be getting to. But first, we want to tell you about dogs. Oh my gosh. You know how much we love our dogs. And we love them so much that we want to make sure that they're getting a multivitamin just like we do. This is Ruff Greens, the premium nutritional supplement just for dogs. It is the brainchild of naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black. And the handiest thing about it is that it tells you exactly how much you need, a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons, depending on the size of your dog. And then if you're choosing Meow Greens for kitty cats, they come in these like individually metered out packets because like cats are cat sized. You know what I mean? Like unless you have like a serval or one of those crazy size cats.
Which is what I would get. That's exactly what I would get. I could not have like a normal size cat just because of who I am as a person, you know?
But like most cats are about cat size. And so there's just a handy, like metered out little packet of their multivitamin. And right now, of course, Dr. Black is suggesting that everybody check out the 90-day challenge because that's about when you're going to see the most results. And so first of all, your dogs and cats are going to eat this up because they love it. It brings their dry kibble to life. But then secondly, you get the benefits. Like you see shinier coats, you have better breath. You'll see better breath from your dogs or kitty cats. Cats usually don't have terrible breath, but dogs, you know, it can get a little
stinky breath. Yeah.
Get a little stinky. You'll see a change in their activity and energy level. And you are actually going to see positive results in their overall health, which is obviously the reason that we give our dogs Ruff Greens to begin with. So you can try a free Jumpstart trial bag. This is the size right here. All you do is cover shipping at ruffchicks.com. That's RUFF chicks.com. And then use code CHICKS, ruffchicks.com.
What does your shirt say? What does it say?
I wear this every year. I think this is like 5 years old at this point. Kiss me. I am 124th Irish.
I love it. Paying homage to Pocahontas.
That's right.
I love it.
I only can wear it once a year. And so every year I do wear it because I really like it.
Great.
All right, let's get into the things and the stuff. And we're going to kick it off by all this talk about the Tren de Aragua criminals who were just deported, most of them to El Salvador, which was kind of amazing. Caroline Leavitt releasing a statement explaining how this was done. And essentially, Donald Trump signed a proclamation invoking an old Alien Enemies Act in order to get these terrorists, because, of course, Tren de Aragua is considered a terrorist organization. And so he used the Alien Enemies Act in order to get them deported. And she went on to say that this is, these are the most violent, the most ruthless, the most direct threat to the United States' national security. And so the department, DHS, successfully arrested almost 300 of them, 281, I think was the count, and shipped them off to El Salvador, which, as you know, the president there made this agreement with Marco Rubio several weeks ago saying, we'll give you a super low rate if you want to house your criminals, these illegal criminals here in our prisons. We'll happily take them off your hands. And that is a place that you don't want to be, is an El Salvador prison.
Which is why they left in the first place. Hello.
Right.
Yeah. This is why. God, I swear. A lot of liberals are like, you can't use this Alien Enemies Act unless you're in wartime. I'm seeing that. Okay, if that's true, if that in fact is the case, we are in wartime. These people are invading our country.
Yeah. And yeah, because that's the other stipulation, is that you need to be at war with the country. And granted, we're not at war with Venezuela as a country, but with this terrorist organization, we are at war with them and they are invading us. So
absolutely. Yeah.
Seems legit to me.
Yeah. And then it's like, and then other people are like, they're arguing that these terrorists need due process. I just, okay. All right. Whatever. I just don't know when we got to the point where terrorists deserve due process, especially terrorists who have already broken the law that come across our, just bust on over our border.
Right.
It's just amazing the lengths to which liberals will defend criminals and terrorists.
This is these are the hills they're dying on, is defending the indefensible.
Yep, they sure are. I mean, I don't understand it. I can't write.
I don't either.
And I'm assuming they're doing it because they just hate Trump so badly.
Yeah.
But I guess part of it is because they just hate this country so much.
Yeah. I mean, there's no other reason that they want to be on the 20% side of every single 80-20 issue.
Right.
But yet this is where they are. And now there's this judge, this Obama appointed judge, who decided to try to put a stay on this order to try to get the planes that were taking these criminals to El Salvador. He put out this order, this emergency injunction saying, no, they have to come back. And everybody on the right is complaining about the judge, rightly so. So this federal judge ordered the deportation flights carrying these gang members to come back. And Pam Bondi was like, tonight, a DC trial judge supported Tren de Aragua terrorists over the safety of Americans. And she's absolutely right about that. And it got to the point where Brandon Gill, that Texas representative who's really becoming quite a star, is saying that he's going to be filing articles of impeachment against that judge. His name is James Boasberg. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but Boasberg or Boasberg. Brandon Gill is going to be filing impeachment articles against him. And I think that is absolutely the right move.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Brandon Gill, man, he is becoming like the crap, isn't
right?
he?
Yeah. I didn't realize that he's Dinesh's son-in-law.
Oh my God, that's right.
Right? Like he's married to Dinesh's daughter.
Yeah, I think I read that a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. I love that. We need to get him on our show.
Yeah, that'd be a good get. That would be a good get.
It really would.
And then, of course, our friend Mike Davis definitely wanted to weigh in on this. And he's saying that the president of the United States correctly designated Tren de Aragua as a foreign terrorist organization, and that he correctly put those terrorists on planes to get them the hell out of our country. And yet this DC judge thinks he's got the power to order the president to turn around the planes in midair to bring back the terrorists into the country. God. And he went on to say, I do not say this lightly. The president has a constitutional duty as a chief executive officer and commander-in-chief to ignore that judge's lawless and dangerous order. The Supreme Court must use the emergency docket to immediately stay the order. Next week, the House has to impeach the judge and defund his court.
Yeah, I mean, look, what is going on here? Like, who is this guy? And why would he want to die on this hill? And what's the motivation for this? Like, there's got to be more to this than just hatred for Donald Trump. Is he getting something? Like, what's going on? There's got to be some corruption somewhere, It
just feels like such a power play. Like they have to do anything they can to thwart anything that Trump is trying to do ever.
Yeah, and this guy does not give a crap about the American people. Impeachment is not good enough for me. Like, it's just not good enough, so he's gone. Okay. So he's impeached. Okay. Then what? Like this guy needs to go to jail for this stuff. I get so angry about this. Yeah, it's bad.
And again, to me, this is an issue that makes Democrats look so bad, because it's like what Western Lensman said. He said, Trump flying a plane load of foreign terrorists out of the country, that's illegal. But Biden flying them in is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Like, what is where are our priorities here?
Upside down world. It really
is.
And it's when you're on the right side of it and you're looking at this, you think this is such common sense stuff. And I cannot wrap my brain around the people who are like, this is the right thing to do. Like, these people are bigots. What is wrong with these people?
I know. It's so crazy. And then, of course, now, once the planes were in the air, then the question became, oh my gosh, did the White House defy a court order? Because, one of the tweets that came out about this was from the El Salvadorian president, who said, oh, the federal judge is ordering us to return to the U.S. Too late, he said, with a laughing emoji.
Oh my God. I swear.
Which was everything. And then he posted a video of what it looked like when El Salvador received all of the criminals. I'm telling you guys, these guys are not going to be having a good time.
Nope.
Here is what it looks like to get processed into the prison system in El Salvador. It's not fun.
Good.
Yeah.
This is what you get.
I mean, it is a process, man. And these guys are and they have to walk like that, bent over.
Oh, that's too bad, isn't it? It's too bad.
And then they get their heads shaved and their beards shaved. Look at how awful these guys are.
Good. What a piece of crap.
They are not going to have a good time in prison.
Mm-mm. It's too good for them.
Yeah, I mean, these are the worst of the worst. These are rapist, murdering gang members. Nobody should feel the least bit sorry for these people.
The depraved things that these monsters have done, honestly, this is too good for them.
Yeah.
I don't feel sorry for them one bit. Not one bit.
You should not. And then in response to that video and to the El Salvadorans president saying, oh, too late, they're already here. Whoops, what are you going to do? Trump also reacted and said, these are the monsters sent into our country by crooked Joe Biden and the radical left Democrats. How dare they? Thank you to El Salvador and in particular, President Bukele, for your understanding of this horrible situation, which was allowed to happen to the United States because of incompetent Democrat leadership. We will not forget.
I love that. And he won't.
I love it too. No, he won't.
He won't forget it. Yeah.
And we're learning about this judge too. Maria Bartiromo had this to say about this particular judge. And it's
this resistance, this judge who wants these Tren de Aragua killers to come back to America is the same judge who gave Kevin Kleinsmith from the FBI the smack on the wrist for manufacturing fake evidence that, in fact, Carter Page was not an asset of the CIA during the whole Russia collusion dust-up.
What a piece of crap. What a piece of crap. See, there's some sort of ulterior motive. There's something going on there. This guy is shady AF.
Mm-hmm. There's some shadiness. There's some shadiness for sure. Dave Urban was asked about the Democrat reaction to this, or just anybody's reaction to this. Like, why would you not be in favor of what you're seeing? Here he is on CNN.
Bravo, right? I mean, who is on the side of keeping Venezuelan gang members in the United States and giving them due process?
Democrats.
If you're a violent criminal alien and you are in our country, I want to get you the hell out of the country as soon as possible. I'd like the president to use everything at his disposal to round up violent criminal aliens, put them on a bus, on a plane, on a boat, whatever, and get them out of our country. And anybody who doesn't take that stance, I think, needs to have their head examined.
Actually, anybody who doesn't take that stance needs to take them into their home.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
While they're waiting for their due process.
Right. They can take it. I'm sure they have a guest room or a guest house. They can take them in, you know, especially all these bleeding heart liberal women who are like, oh my God, I feel so sorry for the gang members.
Right.
All right, Brenda, take them into your house with your teenage daughter there. I'm sure that'll be great.
Well, and this headline from Axios is a little bit off because it says the White House says it ignored a court order. That's not exactly how Caroline Leavitt is positioning it. But regardless, they did not turn the plane loads with these gang members around because the flights were already over international waters. And apparently the order from the judge about turning the planes around was a verbal order. It wasn't actually included in the written order. And so there were a couple of different reasons that, you know, they just kept those those planes in the air and didn't turn them around. So, but naturally Democrats see this as, oh my God, Trump is ignoring court orders. And so there's already discussion about how this ignoring the court order could be it would ultimately lead to another impeachment proceeding for Donald Trump. And I'm just like, yeah, let's try that. Let's do that.
Yeah, try to impeach him for trying to get Venezuelan gang members out of the country.
Right?
Okay.
I mean,
again, this is a great hill to die on, you asshats. I cannot, like, seriously, go ahead and do it. Do that.
I know.
Mhm.
So dumb.
And
I mean,
then just ensure that Republicans will keep winning and winning and winning. But please, by all means, do that.
I'm fine with it. Keep
What
dying on this
idiots.
particular hill.
I cannot with these people.
You guys, it is spring in most places. I mean, not officially. I know we got a few weeks. What? No, not a few weeks. We've got a few days, right? Because it's the 22nd.
Yeah.
Is it the 21st or 22nd?
Can you believe it? It's the 20. It's the 17th today, but it's the 21st. I think I think it's the 21st
when it switches.
When spring springs. Yes.
Yes. When it is gonna spring and be spring, it's happening this week. And so it's time. This is the perfect time to plant stuff, whether you're planting indoors or outdoors. You should be looking at plants from fastgrowingtrees.com/chicks. It is the largest online nursery. They have 2 million plus happy customers, including us. And you can grow things like avocados in your house, you guys. You don't need to have a tree outside. You can grow them in your house. You can choose from any and all trees, shrubs, bushes, flowering plants, fruit plants that you can imagine. They have absolutely everything, and they ship everything really conveniently to your door with like super easy to understand instructions, even for people like Daisy and me who do not have green thumbs at all. So they make it super, super easy. And they've got a huge sale going on right now. You can get 50% off at Fast Growing Trees. Plus, if you use code CHICKS, you can get 15% off of your first purchase. Again, it's fastgrowingtrees.com/chicks and use code CHICKS. They even make it so easy that just based on where you are in the country, they assign you to a zone, and then they'll show you the plants that will grow best in your area. So super handy not to have to drive to a nursery and get your car all dirty with plants from a nursery. Online makes it so, so easy. fastgrowingtrees.com/chicks. Now, I know we've talked about the fact that border crossing numbers are down by, I think the last count was 94%. And nowhere is that number more stark than at the Darien Gap, which is where a lot of people tried to cross and got themselves killed in the process. But you can see the numbers. So back in August of 2023, migrant traffic through the Darien Gap was almost 82,000 in just that month. In February of 24, it was 37,000. And in February of this year, 408.
Yeah. But listen, the president, he doesn't have any power to do anything. No power at all. Okay.
No power.
All right,
No
Democrats.
power.
They're there, Democrats. Okay. Oh my gosh.
These are remarkable numbers.
Wow.
We just needed to change a president, as he said in the state.
Who are the stupid 408 people that tried?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This is a huge, huge difference. And Trump is not, he means it. When he talks about keeping the country safe, he really means it. Now he's got a new travel ban to restrict 43 countries. There's a red list, an orange list, and a yellow list. And the red list means people from there are completely banned. You are not allowed to come here if you're from North Korea, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, Venezuela, Yemen, and some others. The orange list is restricted. It limits visas to just business travelers, I'm sure, who have to go through a lot of rigmarole to do it. But that affects Pakistan, Russia, Myanmar, and others. And then the yellow list is just like a warning list. It's got 22 countries on it, and they're allowing those 22 countries 60 days to fix what they believe are security gaps, or else they're going to face stricter bans. But this is to protect us. That is all. This president is all about protecting United States citizens. And every time he does something like this, I'm like, yay, more.
Well,
please.
I mean, he understands the number one job of the government, which is to keep its citizenry safe. That's the number one job. So,
Yes.
I mean, good for him for understanding that. Biden didn't understand that.
No, not at all. Not at all. And another thing that we talked about while you were gone last week is that all of these various conservative influencers, including our friend Joe Pags, got swatted last week. And it was really bad. Like it was constant. It was constantly, we were hearing reports about various conservative influencers getting swatted. And a lot of them were making pleas online to Pam Bondi, to Kash Patel, saying this has got to stop. Like, you guys need to do something about this. And Kash Patel did address it on Twitter, saying, I want to address the alarming rise in swatting incidents targeting media figures. The FBI is aware of this trend. My team and I are already taking action to investigate and hold those responsible accountable. This is not about politics. Weaponizing law enforcement against any American is not only reprehensible, but it also endangers lives, including those of our officers, and it will not be tolerated. We are committed to working with local law enforcement to crack down on these crimes, and there will be more updates to come. So
Can you
I was
imagine
very,
if
very
that
proud about
happened?
that.
If that happened to us, could you imagine?
Oh my God. This is what I said to Chad, is like, this is why I'm glad we just sort of stay at the level we are.
Me too.
I don't want to get
It's-
bigger.
I know, right? And in my neighborhood, I can't even imagine. Like, I live,
Oh my
I
God.
live in the middle of nowhereville. Like, I can't even imagine the FBI like coming into where I live. I don't know if that would end well.
Yeah, that
It would be bad. Yeah.
dangerous. I mean, it's such a dangerous thing to do. I mean, this can get people killed.
Right. It can. It can.
Attempted
it's-
murder.
And it is, and actually he says this isn't about politics. Like, of course, because you don't want liberals or conservatives to be on the receiving end of any of this.
Right.
It is reprehensible. Like, they should be going after criminals.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it goes back to what the FBI's job is, and it's not to do this. It just isn't. What are they doing? And a lot of the people where I saw that were swatted, they have young kids.
I know.
Can you imagine
God, I
how that
hate
just scares itty bitties? I can't imagine.
Yeah.
It's just not, this is just not right. It's not American.
It's not. And, obviously it's being perpetuated by lefties, clearly, because the attacks are very targeted against conservatives.
Right.
And so once again, leftists are on the side of just chaos and mayhem and depravity. And it's just another example, just like last week, the big news was about this Mahmoud Khalil guy from Columbia University, who's now sitting, in detention in Louisiana, awaiting his due process, even though he doesn't need it. He doesn't deserve it. As a green card holder, Marco Rubio is perfectly within his right to just say, nope, this guy is aligning with terrorists and actually speaks for terror organizations. He is no longer welcome here. He has absolutely every right to do that. And he explained as much on one of the weekend news shows perfectly, as always. That's why I have the name today, is Marco Rubio.
Well, not just the student. We're going to do more. In fact, we every day now we're approving visa revocations. And if that visa led to a green card, the green card process as well. And here's why. It's very simple. When you apply to enter the United States and you get a visa, you are a guest. And you're coming as a student, you're coming as a tourist or what have you. And in it, you have to make certain assertions. And if you tell us when you apply for a visa, I'm coming to the U.S. to participate in pro-Hamas events, that runs counter to the foreign policy interest of the United States of America. It's that simple. So you lied. You came, if you had told us that you were going to do that, we never would have given you the visa. Now you're here. Now you do it. So you lied to us. You're out. It's that simple.
Is there... Yeah.
I just love him.
So this guy, this piece of crap, came here. We gave him free housing, free food, we gave him an Ivy League education. He came over here and he got that education. He took all of that stuff. He took advantage of all the wonderful things that America gave him. And then he shit all over it. And he basically said, I hate America. You should hate America too. And then, when faced with somebody basically calling him out for that, Ilhan Omar's daughter is like, let's do a GoFundMe, raise like $500,000. You tell me, what other country on the planet can you do that? Can you walk away with like, it's probably more than that. I don't even know.
Yeah, by now.
Like $500,000 that guy got for coming over here, getting all that free crap, getting a nice education, and then spewing hatred against. You tell me what other country you can do that. And God bless America, right?
Yeah.
It's unreal. What a piece of crap this guy is.
And that Margaret Brennan chick is the one that was asking Rubio to defend, the fact that he's been detained. And she's like, yeah, but do you have any specific evidence about him? And she's got herself a new haircut, by the way. I don't know if you'll see it in this clip or not, but regardless, he told her what's what.
Evidence of a link to terrorism, or is it just his point of view?
Yeah, they take over I mean, do you not? I mean, you should watch the news. These guys take over entire buildings.
We
they
covered
vandalize colleges.
Intensely.
They shut down colleges.
I'm asking about the specific justification for the revocation of his visa. Was there any evidence of material support for terrorism?
Was the negotiator negotiating on behalf of people that took over a campus, that vandalized buildings? Negotiating over what? That's a crime in and of itself, that they're involved in being the negotiator, the spokesperson, this, that, the other. We don't want it. We don't need these people in our country. We never should have allowed them in the first place. If he had told us, I'm going over there and I'm going over there to become the spokesperson and one of the leaders of a movement that's going to turn one of your allegedly elite colleges upside down, people can't even go to school, library buildings being vandalized, we never would have let him in. We never would have let him in to begin with. And now that he's doing it and he's here, he's going to leave, and so are others, and we're going to keep doing it.
I love that.
I don't really care, I don't give a damn, Margaret. Just watch the news. Just not your station, apparently, but watch the news, right? And also, can I be mean for a second?
Always.
Just between you and me, you know?
Nobody's watching.
She's 44 years old. Does she look 44 to you?
I did think she was a little older than that.
I thought she was like our age.
Yeah.
Is that mean? It's probably mean.
It's because she's mad. She's miserable and mad.
That's what it is? I was shocked to learn that she was only 44. Shocked.
Yeah, wow. Did not know that.
I know, right? I just had to be mean for a second. I'm just saying.
People are also, in addition to terrorizing campuses, they're terrorizing Tesla dealerships and Tesla car owners, keying their cars, just, causing havoc wherever there's a Tesla. And Pam Bondi has had enough, and she wants everybody to know that there will be consequences for this. Here she is.
Locking up on that. We have someone in jail right now from one of the dealerships. They threw a Molotov cocktail through a dealership. They're looking at up to 20 years in prison.
Good.
So if you're going to touch a Tesla, go to a dealership, do anything, you better watch out because we're coming after you.
Good. I want to see it happen.
Yeah, same.
I appreciate the talk, but I want to see it happen.
I know. And I know we talked last week about the fact that there's been slow movement on the release of all these files from Pam Bondi. A lot of people are getting very antsy and anxious and impatient about Pam Bondi. Trump did speak to that just the other day, like just this weekend, to kind of reassure everybody, I promise this is happening. She's doing a really good job. So here is a little bit of that.
Funding this, we're coming after you. We're going to find out who you are.
Okay. Well, Pam Bondi's done a phenomenal job in every respect. And there could have been some holdback. I haven't heard too much about it, but they could. But the bottom line is the records are getting out.
So, I mean, we just got to trust it, I guess, right? Trust the process.
I guess. Be patient.
I'm trying.
I know. Just I need the Epstein files. You know what I mean? What the hell? How hard is this?
He said in that same interview that people in general are more anxious for the JFK files than they are the Epstein files. And I don't think that's true. I think more people are more antsy for Epstein.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all know that it was an inside job for JFK, right? I mean, we all know, right? Don't we know?
I would like to see all of the files, the files on all the things. Just bring them all out.
Yes.
You probably heard last week, we didn't touch on this. We didn't get time really to talk about this autopen issue of Joe Biden and the fact that so many of the executive orders and pardons that he signed were not actually his signature, but more just a stamp, an autopen of his signature. In fact, now there is some reason to believe that he was not even in the same state as the executive orders or pardons being signed. He was like off on vacation when someone attached the autopen signature to them. And so Trump now is saying that those pardons are void, vacant, and of no further force or effect because of the fact that they were done by autopen. So he's saying Joe Biden didn't sign them. And more importantly, he didn't know anything about them. So he believes, Trump, and he said this on True Social, he said, quote, the necessary pardoning documents were not explained to or approved by Biden. He knew nothing about them. And the people that did may have committed a crime. So therefore, any of those on the unselect January 6th committee who destroyed and deleted evidence, any people that were pardoned by autopen essentially are still subject to investigation at the highest level.
Think of all the things that that Biden probably had done by other people that he was completely unaware of. Because, I mean, the guy, was the president with full-blown dementia. He had no idea. Think of all the crap that was done via autopen on autopilot. He had no idea. So I'm all about this.
Now, he did back off a little bit when he was asked about this on Air Force One, because clearly this would be something that a court would have to decide. And he said as much when he was asked directly about this. Here he is.
To follow up on the Biden auto pen, are those executive orders, those pardons from the former president now null and void?
Well, I think so. It's not my decision. That'll be up to a court. But I would say that they're null and void, because I'm sure Biden didn't have any idea that it was taking place. And somebody was using an auto pen to sign off and to give pardons.
Yep. I agree with him 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it, especially at the end, the last year and a half, he had no freaking clue what was going on. There were other people in the cabal that were just like pulling the strings, pushing the buttons, doing all the things. No clue.
Yeah. That he did actually sign his resignation, the famous letter that he said, I'm not going to run again. He did sign that, but basically almost nothing else.
And they were probably like, listen, this is a receipt for Grubhub. Can you sign this? We're ordering some food. And he's like, okay. Did you get ice cream? Because I wanted ice cream. Did you get extra sprinkles? Okay. And he signed it. He had no idea what he was signing. None.
Yeah. It's absolutely, I cannot wait to see what happens with this, because it seems like kind of a big deal that a president should have actually, but also, how do you end up proving that? Because all they'd have to do is trot him out and get him to say, I signed all of it. I approved everything.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And Jill could do that. Jill would just tell him to do that.
Yeah. So I don't know how much luck we're going to have at nullifying and voiding it, but it's interesting that Trump brought it up anyway. Also, there's been movement. Of course, it sounds like Trump is going to be having a conversation with Putin. There's been movement on this whole ceasefire thing. That was a topic of discussion last week. But leave it to the media. They cannot help themselves. They want to create drama where there is none. And this was addressed by Donald Trump also on Truth. He said the fake news, as usual, is at it again. Why can't they be honest just for once? Last night, I read that President Putin of Russia kept my highly respected ambassador and special envoy, Steve Witkoff, waiting for over 9 hours when, in fact, there was no wait whatsoever. And this, what a dumbass thing to lie about. You know what I mean?
It is.
Why? Like, what is their problem?
I know. Well, they just cannot be honest. You cannot trust them. You can't with anything.
It's so stupid.
It is.
It's so stupid. And even
it's like you want them to choose their battles, but they at this point, every single thing that is happening is a battle with them.
Or they want to create a battle for no good reason.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And even Scott Bessent, who is the Treasury Secretary now, who seems so mild-mannered and kind and just not interested in these kinds of battles, he even had to admit that now that he's on the inside, it's really, really much worse than he ever thought. Here he is.
When I was on the other side of the wall, I never really liked the term fake news. Now that I am on the inside and I can see what they're reporting, I think the term fake news probably isn't strong enough. It's really not. That they start with an a priori, they've written the story, and then they just kind of shape shift facts to back into it, because many of the stories that I've been involved with are just so far off. There was a story in the New York Times the other day that talked about 50% headcount decreases at the IRS. Nobody's talking about that. These were on background, these were not named sources, and they're just trying to stir tumult during taxpayer filing season. It's crazy.
Somebody asked, this is Scott Bessent. She said his name was Scott Bessent. He's the Treasury guy. And I believe him. I totally believe him. You cannot trust our media at all. If anybody who still does, I question your sanity.
I know. If you have faith in them to report correctly, just you need to not.
After everything we've been through, what was it like last week? was the 5-year anniversary of basically, of COVID, when COVID started happening. Remember, like our last normal weekend, I say normal weekend. I think that the news sucking happened way before then. We just were unaware of it. A lot of us were not awake to what they were doing. And then it was 5 years ago. That's when everybody started going, wait a second, we're on to you.
Mm-hmm. Well, now the New York Times, I think it was even this weekend, tried to write some piece where it said, we were misled about COVID, about the most, impactful thing of our lifetime. We were misled. And everybody's like, you misled everybody. You were part of that.
It was
Don't try to exclude yourself.
The most disingenuous piece of crap article I think I've read in forever. I was like, you got to be kidding me with this. And then the comments were even worse. Because, I always read the comments. The comments were like, it's just, I'm so heartbroken because I really trusted Fauci. You did?
Oh my God.
You're part of the problem, you schmuck. I couldn't. It was too much for my blood pressure to read that in the comments this weekend. I couldn't do it.
Especially after having a nice vacation like that.
Right.
You can't.
Right.
Speaking of the press, there was an incident on the tarmac where, whenever Trump has got a gaggle of reporters around him, they're all holding up microphones or all wanting to get in his face, essentially with cameras and microphones. And one of the microphones actually touched his face. And I believe this was an NPR. I think that's the last thing I heard is that it's a woman reporter person from NPR. But you'll see the microphone hitting him in the face and you will see, I would not want to be on the receiving end of the look that he gave her because damn.
Mr. President, obviously you're concerned. You're concerned about the situation in Gaza. What are the hopes now to get the hostages back?
She just became a big story tonight. Right?
Yes, sir.
Did you see that?
Seriously, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yikes.
Get it together.
That's a security breach though also. So now you have to, you got to start questioning again, Secret Service, where were you in that moment? Because a lot of people were saying, what if she would have had a trace of fentanyl or ricin? What if that was somebody that had just snuck into the press pool that had really nefarious motives? That could have been a complete tragedy.
Yeah, it could have been. You're absolutely right. You're so right. And so, you're right. Where were they? God,
yeah.
I swear. You could tell he was just
good.
like, I swear, if this were not on television, I would handle this completely different. He was just like, God.
Because he was holding it together, but you could tell it was hard.
Yeah, he was.
Okay, so over the weekend also, finally, instead of just allowing Houthis to just keep on attacking our warships and other ships in the Red Sea, finally, we have a president who is not going to tolerate that. And we fought back and, in fact, killed, I think, 31 Houthi terrorists in the process, including some leadership. Listen, none of us want escalation of tensions or war or anything, but we cannot be a doormat to the entire world anymore. And so we're sending a message now that is not going to be tolerated. And Pete Hegseth was on with Maria Bartiromo to talk about why we finally pushed back.
Because an era of peace through strength is back. Just like in his first term, President Trump had to deal with the weakness of President Obama and get rid of ISIS, and he did it more quickly than anybody else. We're sitting on 4 years of deferred maintenance from Joe Biden, where in particular, when you talk about the Houthis, they were allowed for over 100 times to shoot at U.S. Ships, to shoot at commercial shipping. 4 months ago, when we sent a ship through, it was shot at 17 times. Ships haven't been able to go through for over a year without being shot at. Freedom of navigation is basic. It's a core national interest. And President Trump has said, we will restore that and we will be unrelenting. I want to be very clear. This campaign is about freedom of navigation and restoring deterrence. The minute the Houthis say, we'll stop shooting at your ships, we'll stop shooting at your drones, this campaign will end. But until then, it will be unrelenting. We got.
I love that. Yes.
Balls.
Yes.
Make America have balls again. That's what it is. Big brass balls.
MABA. Make American ballsy again.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's it. That's it, everybody.
Marco Rubio also weighing in on this. By the way, there's no one I think in the entire cabinet who I'm more impressed by. I mean, they're all great, but he has been like stellar,
God.
like just really, really stellar. Here he is weighing in also on the Houthis.
The problem here is that this is a very important shipping lane, and in the last year and a half, the last 18 months, the Houthis have struck or attacked 174 naval vessels of the United States, attacking the U.S. Navy directly 174 times, and 145 times they've attacked commercial shipping. So we basically have a band of pirates, with guided precision anti-ship weaponry, and exacting a toll system in one of the most important shipping lanes in the world. That's just not sustainable. We have attacked the U.S. Navy 174 times. They've attacked the United States Navy. We're not going to have people sitting around with the missiles attacking the U.S. Navy. It's not going to happen, not under President Trump.
He will be a contender for president. I said this to our group couple weeks ago. I was like, he is positioning, he's like jockeying. Even think he's doing it purposefully. I think he's just doing a really great job. I don't think he's thinking about being president. I think he's just like, he was made for this role.
He really was.
I mean, we've seen him for years, right? Ever since we've been doing this job as chicks for 15, 16 years, we've watched him grow. And my God, he was made for this job. He's doing such a great job at doing it. And so now I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, in 3 years, I can see him running for president. He's doing a great job.
We're going to have some serious choices
to
make.
And they won't. Their bench is going to be dude with the Carhartts and I don't know, Bernie will probably run again. And then they'll have AOC and I don't know.
Jasmine.
Exactly. Jasmine. It's just going to be a gaggle of weirdos. It's the cantina scene from Star Wars and then us, So
well,
great.
And Marco, I mean, again, I couldn't stop finding clips of him that I loved this weekend. I just was like, God, everything that he has been talking about, whether it's, we've already played 2 clips from him talking about 2 entirely different things. And now here is a third, because he was asked in a separate interview whether or not he trusts Vladimir Putin. And here was his perfect answer on that.
Do you trust Putin?
I think it's an irrelevant question. I think in foreign policy, it's not about trusting, it's about action. It's about things that you do. So in the end, on something like this, you can't just say you want peace, you have to do peace. And that's true for both sides in any conflict. So in any war and in any engagement. So I think ultimately all these things, I would just encourage you guys, if we're going to be serious about foreign policy, to sort of navigate away from some of this is not a reality show. This is not about personalities. This is very simple. You either do things or you don't. Sometimes you will have to figure out how to work together with nations that are not aligned with you on most issues.
Right.
And in some other cases, you may find yourself unaligned on an issue with a nation that you work with very closely on a bunch of other things. So I think it's important. I get there's this temptation to cover foreign policy the way we cover domestic policy and the way we cover other things in our society. But foreign policy is about nation states pursuing what they have interpreted to be in their national interest. And balancing that is what the art of diplomacy and the work of foreign policy is all about. And so we need to sort of be mature and open-eyed and realistic without losing our idealism, without losing what we hope the world will look like and want to shape it and be a part of. But by the same token, we have to make pragmatic decisions every single day. And that's not true today. That's always been true. Always.
He's a realist. Go figure. It's like, because the Democrats are constantly making decisions based on their feelings. Mm-hmm. This isn't about feelings. It's about business. You run the country like a business. God, it's so refreshing to see somebody talk about that. I'm so sick of people's freaking feelings. That's not how we do things. That's not how you should do things. If you want to run a successful business and or a successful country, get over it.
He's doing so good.
He really is. He is.
And then we have like massive disappointments like John Bolton, who believes that Trump, who a lot of people agree is the only person on the face of the planet that can actually move forward with any kind of negotiations that are going to happen between Russia and Ukraine. And John Bolton thinks that this is all for one reason and one reason only. Here he is. He needs to be punched in the face. Not that we condone violence.
We don't condone violence on the show. We don't ever.
We would never do that. Yeah. But here he is.
The
pressure that Trump has put on for a ceasefire is motivated by one thing: Trump's desire for good publicity and to buttress his case to get a Nobel Peace Prize.
God, shut up. Just shut up.
There's no way that Trump gives a shit about the Nobel Peace Prize, especially that Obama won it. And I mean, it's meaningless now.
It is. It's like comes free with an order of shrimp tacos, you know? Nobody cares. This guy, just quit trying to be Colonel Sanders. Nobody likes you. Go away. Why is anybody even talking to him?
I don't know why he continues to be platformed. I really don't.
Yeah, because he wants attention. Because he wants it. So quit projecting your need for attention onto the president. Bolton. I don't like him.
No, nobody does. Nobody does. But I'll tell you who likes each other, and that is Zelensky and Macron, who were snapped in like a really awkward bro hug that went on too long and then repeated itself.
Awkward. Very awkward.
It looked like this. Like what? Okay, they're holding
It's like
hands.
broke back Ukraine, you guys.
Yeah.
That
wasn't enough. They went in for another one.
He's like, I can't quit you. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying.
And then
right
like
now.
the head grab, that was a little awkward.
Why are you gay?
Why are you gay? I swear those two and Trudeau need to have a threesome. They may have already. You guys were thinking it. You were thinking it.
I mean, that just made me uncomfortable. Made me super uncomfortable.
A little bit.
Also, I would like to introduce this next thing as obviously AI, which it is, but somebody put together all of the world leaders into a "We Are the World" sing-along.
No.
Guys,
oh my God.
Guys.
No.
Anyway,
it's not okay. It's not.
It's so I mean, like that. Granted, you can tell it's AI, but like at some point, you're not going to be able to tell that it's AI.
No, we won't. We won't be able to tell, which is why people say AI is great. It's not. It's not great. It's not great, you guys. It's not at all. I don't like it. We need to kill all the robots with fire. All of them.
Okay, we need to talk about what happened last week with the shutdown, or the almost shutdown, the averted shutdown, the averted Schumer shutdown, and then what's happening with Democrats, because Democrats are on the struggle bus right now, you guys, and a lot of people are talking about it. People were going after Hakeem Jeffries, asking him directly, point blank, do you think Schumer needs to be replaced? And he would not answer, and then he got all testy when people were like, why won't you answer this question? Here's a little bit of that.
Time for new leadership in the Senate.
Next question.
Have you lost confidence in him? The fact that you guys see this so differently.
Next question.
Mr. Leader, why were you afraid to say anything about Schumer when you were asked?
Don't characterize. Do not characterize.
No, my question was why were you afraid to say anything?
Do not characterize my remarks. I'm not afraid about anything. Anything.
But you went to another question.
Anything.
And now there's talk of AOC running a primary challenge against Schumer.
Oh my God. It's just, they're such a hot mess, and I'm so here for it.
Right?
I love it. I love all of this drama. It's so great.
A
God.
lot of drama. And the polling, you guys, the polling is out of control. So 10% in a CNN poll said AOC is the leader of the Democrat Party.
Oh my God.
Followed closely by Kamala, who already lost, Bernie, then Hakeem, then Barack Obama, then Jasmine, Gavin, Nancy Pelosi, Alyssa Slotkin, Chuck Schumer, and Tim Walz coming in at 1%.
Tim Walz, the lumberjack, is so mad that he has 1%. Oh God!
I mean,
their approval ratings are just in the tank right now.
Yeah, we've got a lot of different polling kind of numbers to get into, but like the fact that everybody in the party was so mad at Chuck Schumer, they even tried to fundraise off of saying F Schumer. So Sean Spicer, whose show we're going to be on actually today, so you should definitely check in when his show is released today because we're going to be on with him. He posted this text that obviously he saw from Justice Democrats and Act Blue trying to raise money, attacking Leader Schumer by saying F Chuck Schumer. Because now it's really cool for Democrats to cuss a lot. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Totally.
Super cool.
It's like
so
really cool.
This is interesting, right?
They are just, they're eating their own. I love it. I love it so much. They can't figure out, you know, what's going to work and what's not. And then so many of them are still sticking with the old talk with the talking points and with the policies that destroyed them in the last election. And they want to stick with all that. So, okay. They have no compass.
Right. And no leader, which they have no
Right.
one to look to for guidance. They're all just flailing. You know what I mean?
And I think part of it is because they were run by like the Obamas and the Valerie Jarretts behind the scenes. That's who was running the ship. Let's face it, because it wasn't Biden, you guys. It wasn't. So it was some weekend at Bernie's figurehead being run by that cabal behind the scenes. And now that's done. Those people are like, well, we're done. I guess we're not doing that anymore. So what do? I mean, they've got a bunch of losers over there now. I'm okay with it.
It is getting really interesting. And the shutdown, of course, brought up a lot of discussion about the filibuster, which, of course, Democrats, you know, a few years ago were like, we've got to end the filibuster. It's so racist. And so Scott Jennings made total fun of them in this beautifully snarky appearance with Jake Tapper. Here it is.
Well, because first of all, I just want to say I'm grateful for Chuck Schumer today. He helped defeat a racist Jim Crow filibuster in the Senate. And to stand up against the racist Jim Crow filibuster tactics was a moment of pure courage. And I just think he should be lauded by anybody in any party for that. That's number one. Number two.
It's a deep cut. Let me just explain for people at home.
I'm just saying.
When there was a Democratic push against the filibuster, people in the Democratic Party were saying it was a racist era, Jim Crow era.
And it was
tactic, the filibuster. So he's being cheeky.
And all right,
back to
not only that, but he saved us from the Democrats in the House.
It's just so great. It's so great.
God, I just can't get enough of it. And it's so bad that Van Jones is saying that the anger he is seeing towards Schumer now is beyond anything that he has ever seen before. He even calls it volcanic.
Then how angry are Democrats at Leader Schumer?
I've never seen this level of volcanic anger at a Democrat ever. Ever.
Wow.
We could be grumpy. We can be frustrated with each other. There is a volcanic eruption of outrage at Leader Schumer. There's an emotional need to stop Donald Trump and Elon Musk from running over this party. And I think Chuck Schumer has radically misread the room.
It's volcanic, you guys.
Volcanic.
It's like global warming. It's so volcanic. God, I'm enjoying this so much.
It is kind of fun, right?
You know, it really is. Like, I just want to get popcorn and just sit back and watch it all unfold because they deserve it.
Every last second of it. They deserve it.
Yep.
And the talk about AOC, you know, putting up a challenge to Senator Schumer for the leadership it's being talked about enough that Jasmine Crockett was asked about it. asked to weigh in, would she support AOC? And of course, she had to be all dramatic and be like, I don't even know if there's going to be elections in 4 years.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Here's Jazzy Jasmine.
Just read the room.
You're close with Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York. Some of your fellow House Democrats say, and not just progressives, by the way, we've heard that moderates have said this too, that they're ready to support her to challenge Chuck Schumer in a Democratic primary. Would you get behind that?
That's 4 years from now. If you were asking me at least in 2 years, then I would have an absolute answer. But I can tell you that there are a lot of people that are watching his leadership in this moment. This is the moment. We don't even know what elections will look like in 4 years, if we will have elections. And so I definitely think that younger, fresher leadership may be something that many of us, not just depending on what part of the spectrum you're on, but many Americans may be looking for, especially in the state of New York.
Okay, that sounds good. I'm sorry, I was so distracted by her blinking with the spiders on her eyes. Is it just me? I can't, like, there's
like butterflies.
I cannot stop looking at the blinking, the constant. It's got to be hard to hold those things up, you know? Good
That's true. I never
Lord.
thought about like the weight of them.
Oh,
Like,
they're just, it's got to be crazy. They've got, because I mean, if you watch her, you guys, I can't be the only one that saw the blinking, like the constant blinking. It's like, it's probably so exhausting. She's got to take a break. She's got to close her eyes for a while and then open them back up because it's all the spiders.
yeah,
Lord.
it's heavy. It's really,
Yeah.
really heavy.
I hope it's AOC. I hope AOC becomes the emerging leader, the little commie leader, the bartending
God.
commie. That would make sense. I think it'd be great. What a perfect
Yikes.
representation of what the Democrat Party has become. AOC. It'd be great.
Oh my God, that is a nightmare to think about. But as I said earlier, we've got polls to get to, and Raju, whatever his name is, on CNN talked about the latest CNN polling on Democrats, and it ain't good.
This morning, a brand new exclusive CNN poll that paints a brutal reality for Democrats as they struggle to mount a unified opposition to President Trump. Americans' favorable views of the Democratic Party's brand are at a record low, just 29%. That's compared to 36% for Republicans. It is the lowest ever recorded for Democrats in CNN polling, going back more than 30 years. As you can see, the party's numbers dropping a staggering 20 points in just 4 years. The CNN SRSR's poll also found 57% of Democrats and Democratic-leaning voters are more interested in seeing their party leaders stop the GOP agenda, compared to 42% who are more interested in cutting bipartisan deals.
First of all,
You know, our
That's
numbers are
interesting.
It is interesting. Our numbers are not much better, though. If you look at the numbers, I think people just hate politicians in general.
Yeah.
We just hate
But
everybody.
The most interesting part was that it wasn't that big of a spread between the people who want Democrats to fight everything that Trump and Elon are doing versus the people that are like, I want unity. I want everybody to work together in order to move the country in the right direction. And
Right.
that is going to be a huge problem for them, because if they're that far, if they're half and half in their own party, they're going to be directionless. They're not going
Right.
to know how to navigate that. And
Agreed.
yikes, you
Mhm.
know?
Yep.
NBC also had its own polling that showed some serious trouble for Democrats.
country, this really jumped out. We asked folks, is it on the right direction or the wrong direction? That 44%, you say right direction, that's up since November. And if that doesn't seem like a lot, the last time it cracked 40%, you got to go back to 2012. The last time it actually hit 44 or higher, January of 2004. So a lot of this is Republicans, but independents, that number is also up since the election on the direction of the country.
Okay, so the direction of the country, people think that we're kind of on the right track right now.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. And this is the thing, Democrats don't understand that, and they keep fighting the fact that the majority of Americans think that we're on the right track. Stop fighting that. Stop
Yeah.
it, because you're
See how
dying
you
on
can help.
Yeah, you're dying on the hill of all the wrong things. You're dying on the hill of cutting off the genitals of little kids. Like, you're on the wrong side of history. Stop it. Move over and let the adults just handle all this. Okay.
Well, Chris Murphy, who wants very clearly to be a leader in the Democrat Party, he's one of the people that would lean on fighting against the Trump agenda. And he said as much to Kristen Welker. Here he is.
Poll, as you just saw, shows the Democratic Party at an all-time low approval rating. Why do you think Democrats are failing to connect with Americans at this critical moment of urgency, which you describe?
Well, it's what I just talked about. I mean, I think Americans want the Democratic Party to stand up and fight and to take risks. But I think the broad middle of the public as well want to see our party fighting in exceptional ways. That is the conversation that has to happen inside of the Democratic Party, inside our caucus. And if we don't get that right, if we continue to work with Republicans, if we continue to hand Donald Trump more power, we are going to lose our democracy.
This whole losing democracy thing is played.
Right? It's tired.
It's as played as racism and sexism and, you know, and being a transphobe and all that crap. I mean, we're done. We're over it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah. It is just tired. I mean, that's just, it lost all of its meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Just like all the other words that they've completely bastardized into meaningless.
Mm-hmm. Come up with a new shtick, dude. Because that one's been played into the ground. And we're not paying attention to you. They're there.
David Sachs was interviewed about the State of the Union, just all the crazy signs that the Democrats were holding. And he wanted to point out one thing in particular, which I thought was such an interesting point about the little signs that said Musk steals. And here's what he said about that.
Laura, you know, I was at the State of the Union and I was up in the balcony. I was looking down at the Democrats holding up these silly little signs. And the sign that I saw the most was one that said Musk steals. And I really thought about that, which is, you know, how is Elon stealing? He's returning money to the Treasury. And then it hit me. They actually have come to believe that this taxpayer money is theirs. And by returning it to the Treasury, Elon is stealing from them. That's my best explanation of why they're in such a hysterical state about this. But of course, Elon isn't stealing anything. He is making sure that the federal government is taking good care of our money and that we're not wasting it. It's not going to corruption or fraud. And I think that just has the swamp in an absolute tizzy because he, along with the president and at the president's direction, they are draining the swamp.
They do think it's theirs. They think they're entitled to it. And you know what? And nothing against a lot of federal employees who are really nice people, but there are some federal employees who also feel entitled to their jobs.
Right.
You're not. You know, private sector employees are not entitled to their jobs. They can get fired any day and they don't get 9 months severance. You know? And so this is America, man. Like you're not entitled to anything. You got to work for it. And you're definitely not entitled to my money that I work for. You're not entitled to anything that I have. I'm not entitled to anything that you have. That's the way the world works here in America. And a lot of people have lost sight of that.
Yeah, it's true. One of the people that in the Democrat Party who is more right than a lot of other Democrats, of course, is John Fetterman, even though he's wrong on a whole lot. He does have more common sense, it seems like, than a lot of his other colleagues. And he actually criticized that ridiculous choose a fighter video that the Democrats put out. And so Jake Tapper was asking Jasmine Crockett to respond to his criticism because he was like, that was super lame. And he, made fun of it essentially. And she did not like that. And so now there's infighting again within the Democrat Party. Here is that little conversation.
Among Democrats. Last week, you were one of those who participated in a Choose Your Fighter video. It got some criticism online, including Democratic Senator John Fetterman called it bizarre and reportedly mocked it in the Senate hallway. I will say that your punching looked better than some of your colleagues. Fetterman has been criticizing your party for undignified antics and a sad cavalcade of cell phones during the president's address to Congress. What's your response to Senator Fetterman?
He's not the one to talk about anything. I mean, this is a guy that doesn't seemingly want to own a suit. I'm not really sure. But I don't show up in hoodies when I'm going on the floor. And so the idea that you would say that we could not have a moment in which an influencer asked us to do this. Now, I'll be perfectly honest with you and tell you that when she asked me to jump, I said, did you ask my older colleagues to do this? Because I feel like you're picking on me because you think that my knees are a little younger. And I did not know who all was in this particular trend whatsoever. And I think that it is important that people see that we're real people. And even if that means that there's a moment to laugh, that's okay, especially since it seems like we're doing more crying than anything. But just know that we were not on the House floor jumping around at all, whereas Senator Fetterman is consistently walking around the Senate chamber, and he is walking around in such a way that they literally had to change the rules in the Senate so that he could walk around that way. So I just don't think that he's necessarily the one to actually have an opinion about that.
Keep fighting, Dems. Love it.
Just a lot of infighting.
I know, right? It's so fun. Oh my God, it's
doing
so
it. Yeah, it's
fun.
right. It is fun.
And then just because I know you love Harry Sisson.
Oh yeah, I know
you love him.
I love that little girl.
People have started to notice and pick up on the fact that every time he releases a video, it's with the same breathless, oh my God, this is the most major news ever intro. And so somebody montaged it and made it into this.
We have some breaking news. We have some major breaking. We have some major news. We have some major news. We have some major breaking news. We have some major news. We have some major news. We have some major news. Major news right now. Major breaking news right. Major breaking news. Democrat.
Yeah, is it major? We have that. He's paid by the Democrat Party.
So paid
to do that. So paid.
Yeah.
What a sellout. His parents failed him.
Oh, big time. Big time. Now, the news isn't all rosy for the GOP, as you mentioned also. And that, according to the NBC News poll, just 30% of independents currently approve of Trump's performance in office, whereas 67% disapprove. And of course, this is the group of folks that we need to hang on to. So it's just something to watch, I suppose.
I'm surprised by that. I'm very surprised by that number.
Yeah. Maybe they're just squishy, right? Like they're just feeling squishy about the methods. And they're waiting to see how it plays out.
I think if you're an independent at this point, you are by your very nature squishy.
That's true. That's a great point.
Who the hell is independent at this point?
That's true.
Like, what is wrong with you? I'm independent. No, you're not. You just don't stand for anything. You're asking for somebody to tell you what to do. Seriously, you're that person that needs somebody to tell you what to do. I feel sorry for you. Independent. You're not. They think it sounds cool to say independent. You have no spine. Honestly.
Well, there is, I don't know who's leading the messaging effort among Democrats since they don't have a specific leader, but somebody is getting into enough of their heads that they all now think that they need to use profane language. That's obviously number one. But secondly, they also want to talk about the moment. So they have gotten their marching orders about this moment, the moment. Somebody picked up on this and put it all together right here. And go. Why is it not going?
Why is it not going?
Go.
Go.
In this
go. Oh, wait. There it is. There it is. There it is. Okay.
The strength that we have is in this moment.
Listen to your constituents. Center them in this moment.
But I can tell you that there are a lot of people that are watching his leadership in this moment. This is the moment.
You know, I think about what's happening, in this moment.
What's important is that we meet this moment.
Wow. So are these current Democrats the ones to meet the moment?
What do you want to see us doing right now in this moment?
And which Democrats are actually going to stand up against Elon Musk and Donald Trump in this moment?
The fight that you all are exhibiting is not just what the base wants, but it's what this moment requires.
So many moments.
Who comes up with this crap? I want to know who's the person that says, okay, this week it's going to be constitutional crisis. Next week it's going to be in this moment. And go. Who is it? That's the only thing that, because I know it's orchestrated. I know that it's a bunch of propaganda bull crap, but who's the person in charge? Is it Obama?
I know. This is what everybody's asking. Like, who is the leader?
Who is it? I don't know. I'd like to get that person on our show. and ask them why they're a dirty commie. Why?
Why are you a dirty commie in this moment? We would like to know.
I love it. Yes.
By the way, speaking of things that we love, if you don't think it's completely adorable, Elon's little boy X, whenever he is around the White House, there are the cutest things going on. Trump walking him to Marine One. Oh my God, you guys. This was so completely precious.
And he's
so Elon's
oh my God. I know, the whole thing was so cute.
And he's just so jumpy and happy and like
he's so great with kids, you know? And think about it, like that kid is having so many core memories.
Oh my gosh,
that
right?
One day he's going to look back and be like, I got to do that. Granted, his dad is Elon Musk. I mean, it's not like his life would have been without moments anyway, but but this is amazing. Could you imagine?
God, he is so freaking cute.
He really is the cutest kid. Like, I love it. X. Not.
Just how jumpy he is. He's like a little bunny rabbit, you know?
And you want your kid to be around Trump because Trump has raised, I mean, with the help of some awesome women, he's raised some pretty amazing children. But you can't say that Trump hasn't had a hand in that.
Oh, no. And he's a good grandpa. He's a really good grandpa.
Right. And every single one of those kids is a good kid. So, I mean, I'd be like, okay, you go on Marine One with Grandpa Trump.
It's just the cutest. And so Elon was not far behind. And then a lot of people noticed that it's, you know, like father, like son, right?
Yeah.
They're both so jumpy and happy.
So sweet. So sweet.
And then a lot of people are also, this was starting to go really, really viral. I mean, everybody's so mad at DOGE right now. And how dare we have a DOGE? How dare we want to have government efficiency? But this is not a new concept. In fact, it was tried by Obama with Joe Biden supposedly leading the charge.
Unreal.
Here's a little bit of the clip that's been going around like crazy over the weekend in case you haven't seen it.
Everyone knows that getting rid of the deficit will require some tough decisions. And that includes cutting back on billions of dollars in programs that a lot of people care about. But what should be easy is getting rid of the pointless waste and stupid spending that doesn't benefit anybody.
Weird.
Waste we should be getting rid of even if we didn't have a deficit. Sure, some of these cuts aren't that big, but no amount of waste is acceptable. Not when it's your money. Not at a time when so many Americans are already cutting back. Just as families are living within their means, government should too. We need to make government work for you. That's why, starting today, I've asked the Vice President to lead a renewed effort to hunt down misspent tax dollars in every agency and department of this government. We're calling it the Campaign to Cut Waste. And I know Joe's the right man to lead it. Because nobody messes with Joe.
Nobody messes with Joe,
Nobody
you guys.
Nobody messes with Joe, you guys.
So how did that work?
It didn't. It didn't work at all. He just kept spending and spending and spending. They lie.
Yep.
Democrats lie. This is what they do best. Full of crap is what they are. And now that we're trying to do it, it's a constitutional crisis, you guys.
Oh, yeah. It's the end of democracy as we know it.
In this moment. It can't.
Dan Bongino is starting this week his new role as deputy director of the FBI. And so he had his last podcast episode this past Friday, and it was highly, highly emotional, particularly at the end. And so we have a little bit of that right here.
I'm really just a little bit overwhelmed. Because, you know, with the show and all the clips and having everybody here, it's the energy kind of just distracts you from the reality of, you know, what's about to happen. And it really hit me this morning. So I still got a radio show to do, which is crazy. How I'm going to get through that. So I'll end as I began. I'll see you guys on the other side.
That's very very sweet.
That was very sweet.
When I left radio and then I didn't know what was going to happen, but I kind of took a leap and I left radio. That last day of radio, I panicked. Like I had like it was panicky. You know what I mean? Like, because I went to work in corporate America for like half a second and then I convinced you that we had to just do podcasting. But like that was scary. You know what I mean? Because we had done it for so long. We had done radio for like almost 8 years. And we had been, we still had our business and everything. And I knew we were going to still do like podcasting, but I was going to be working in corporate America. It was just going to be different. But I remember that last day, I was so emotional because I was like, oh yeah, God, I don't know what's going to happen. Oh my God. Because it's just so different. Like I could not imagine not doing this ever again.
Yeah.
I couldn't like, I will never not do this ever again. Even if like, I just couldn't imagine it. I can't. So when I watched that, and I saw him get emotional, I get it.
Yeah, I totally get it.
I can't. Right. I totally get it. So when people are like, that's icky seeing him cry, it's not icky to me because it's not, I mean, I get it. He's like such a manly man. And so watching a manly man cry, I get, but I mean, I feel for him because that's
a huge thing to leave for him.
It is.
Huge.
There's no other place I'd rather be than right here. And like, I mean, I know he feels like a calling and everything, but man, that's a hard thing to leave.
It is.
Yeah.
I know you said in your tease, and we definitely need to get to this because this is an unbelievable clip. This happened in the California state legislature. Apparently now they pray using Beyonce lyrics, and it's so just standard Democrat freaking weirdness. You guys look at this.
Mr. Speaker, members, and guests. Let us pray. Raise your hands, breathe in deep. Get yourself a new pair of boots, a shiny buckle, and a wide-brimmed hat.
Oh my God.
And sing praise as we enter the Cowboy Carter era.
Oh my God.
Ask yourself as Queen Bee asks us all, can we stand for something? Now is not the time to face the wind, my friends. Now ain't the time to pretend. Now is the time to let love in. Together, can we stand? Members, now is not the time for alligator tears. You see, just like Beyonce, my family lived and died in America. Good old USA. A whole lot of red in that white and blue. History can't be erased. You looking for a new America? Are you tired? Work a time and a half for half the pay? I just pray that we don't crash because I keep my Bible on the dash. We got to keep the faith. Members, keep the faith. California, keep the faith. And the members say, amen.
Status, man. They are so whack. Status.
My God.
Let them do it though. I mean, I'll take Jesus. You take Beyonce. We'll see who wins. You know? You do you, boo.
That's right. Last week when you were gone, Chad and I spent some time talking about the whole Gavin Newsom podcast because it's very clever of him. He's had on Steve Bannon, Charlie Kirk, Michael Savage, and he's trying to show look at me, look how I get along with everybody. Look how moderate I've become. He's trying to show that side of him. And yes, he's so slimy, so slimy, but he is getting ripped by members of his own party. So Sunny Hostin, one of many Democrats who's super mad at him for giving a platform to right-wing people. She doesn't buy it. She doesn't buy what he's selling. Here she is to complain about it.
Poor strategy for Gavin Newsom. I actually did think that he was one of the leaders that would come out in terms of 2028. I remember watching his annual State of the Union address in California, and he criticized Republicans, and he promoted California as an antidote to the poisonous populism of the right. Now he has a Steve Bannon on the show who's saying, you're going to get to populism. There's a long road. He gives zero pushback there. He gives zero pushback, as Sarah pointed out, to really what is a slur against Senator Warren, a sitting senator. He gives a platform and normalizes, in my view, an election denier and someone who is the person who is behind Project 2025. And I believe that, you know, if you are going to be a public servant, you better be unapologetically authentic, because voters can sniff out inauthenticity in a second. And I thought that that was one of the most inauthentic things I have seen Gavin Newsom do.
Wow.
I'm terribly,
So you don't believe in the
terribly,
let them hang themselves theory?
No, I'm terribly disappointed. I think you meet energy with energy. And what he did was he showed his pretty white teeth and his cute face and did nothing other than that. And I think it's despicable.
Oh, damn.
Sunny. I mean, all those women are like, but I mean, he told me that he was injured. And so I got into his car and I didn't think he was going to kill me, you know? Ted Bundy. These are the women who, I mean, it's like, but I trusted Fauci, you know, but I trusted Gavin. Well, then it's you. You're the problem. It's you. You're the problem, Sonny. You should have never, like, that's the most like inaccurate thing he's ever done. Like he's
like, she's just now noticing that he's a total phony.
He's an
just now,
right? He's an absolute con artist. He has been forever. And to prop California up as some sort of beacon on the hill that we should all try to be like. Have you seen it lately? Good Lord, lady! Like, this is the thing. She's so disappointed in him now. Were you around during the fires? I don't know. The rest of us have seen what a complete snake he is forever. So I'm sorry that you have no sense of like being able to see who people are, but we can see it, and we've been able to see it for years. So that sucks for you. The reason that he is doing what he's doing is because he wants to stay in power. And so he'll just flip flop and do whatever he has to do to keep power, because he's a scumbag.
And he'll say all the things, no matter, depending on who his audience is. Right. He'll say the things he thinks he needs to say in order to gain their favor. That's right. He's a complete snake.
He's that guy. He's that guy in the bar who will say whatever he needs to say to get laid.
Right.
Seriously, he'll say whatever he has to say to any woman in the bar to get her to come home with him. He's gross.
And it's just so funny to me that the Democrats are turning on him like this, including some of the Hollywood elites like Jane Fonda.
We have to ask ourselves, so is our Governor Newsom, is he Chamberlain or is he Churchill?
Oh my God.
What do you think? Right now he's Chamberlain. He's been Churchill. This is what's so insane. He has been a great leader. He has been braver than most past governors. And then suddenly, what's going on? Cozying up to Steve Bannon is not a way to, what he does by doing that is he forfeits his ability to inspire and protect the very people that elected him.
I would say that sitting down with Bannon and Charlie Kirk and all the rest of it, we have to talk to each other as a country, and there's lessons to be learned from why Democrats lost. You don't buy that?
No. You're not going to learn any lessons from Steve Bannon about why Democrats lost or any of the other Republicans he's had. Anybody wants to find out why Democrats lost. Talk to people in the middle of the country or working people here. Working class people are the people that can explain to the Democrats what went wrong, not Steve Bannon.
She doesn't know what a working class person is.
I don't think she's ever seen one.
No. She wouldn't know one. If a working class person hit her in her face, well, first of all, her face is so full of stuff and pulled back that it probably wouldn't hurt her. If a working class person actually hit her in the face, she wouldn't feel it. But if that person hit her in the face, she wouldn't know it. She would absolutely not know it.
It's just, I love all of the infighting. I cannot get enough. Get enough.
You know, first, I have mixed feelings about this because I think that we should all be able to talk to one another. I do. I hate Gavin Newsom. I really do. I don't want to give him props for having a podcast where he talks to people from other sides of the aisle or whatever, because I don't think he should be doing a freaking podcast. I don't think he should be doing that.
He's supposed to be leading a state. I mean, he's got a job, so
he should be doing his freaking job. I don't think any of those losers should be doing podcasts because they need to stay in their lane when it comes to doing their jobs, because he's not doing his job well. Look at the state. I have kids who live there. They're suffering there. So he's sucking at his job and he's like, let me do a podcast because I'm totally cool. So he shouldn't be doing it. But if he were a media person and he was doing a podcast, I don't think it's a bad idea for a podcast. I don't think that's a bad idea to like talk to people from different sides of the aisle. We used to be able to do that in the 80s and 90s. Remember?
Yeah. Back in the day.
Yeah.
It used to be a lot easier. Speaking of podcasts, Meghan Markle is not getting enough attention. So she has decided to start a new one. So this is in addition to her Netflix, like her I'm Trying to Be Martha Stewart show. Now she announced last week that she's excited to share something else she's been working on, Confessions of a Female Founder. This is her new podcast that I guess starts in the next couple of weeks. Perhaps it's already started. No, it starts in April. And so she's been talking to like women CEOs and women, business builders to get their insights and help her with her aspiring business ventures. And when does the privacy start?
Right.
When are we going to do the privacy
thing?
She
just needs to go away. Like if she's going to talk about her success, is it going to be like, okay, so in order to start a business and be really successful, you marry a prince and you get tons of money.
Step number one.
And then you can start 18 gajillion businesses that fail.
Right. Because you've got the name.
Them. You just keep starting them because you have endless supplies of cash from your prince husband. Shut up, Meghan.
God, she's the worst, most insufferable hag.
Right. Any self-respecting businesswoman should not talk to this hag. If they do, then I have no respect for that businesswoman.
Well, and Michelle Obama is another one that started this new podcast with her brother. That is not going well.
No.
So I hope that Meghan Markle has just zero success with this. Everybody is so sick and tired of her. Just go away. My God. A surprise for you. I held this over from last week because I know how much you love Dan Crenshaw. I know how much you love him.
Yes, he and I, two peas in a pod.
And I thought you might enjoy how much escalation there has been in his fight with Tucker Carlson.
Oh, yeah.
So we talked when you were here, I guess a few weeks ago, about the fact that he basically said if he was going to interview Tucker Carlson, he would kill him.
Yes.
And then he tried to deny it.
He denied it. Right.
When it was on tape, they were like, you said it. I mean, here is the video evidence of it. And then he made excuses, whatever. He's awful, absolutely awful. And Piers Morgan had him on his show along with Mehdi Hassan to talk about the escalation of this fight. And it's getting worse. Now he's referring to Tucker as a mongrel. Here is a little bit of that appearance.
I'm going spat with Tucker Carlson. Now, this began when there was, you were caught off, you thought you were off camera, still on mic, saying he was the worst person. We've talked a lot on Twitter. If I ever meet him, I'm going to effing kill him. You then said, I think anyone seriously watching and being honest with themselves knows that was hyperbole. You said in private, and no, Tucker, nothing to worry about. I've absolutely no desire to harm him. And then Tucker went on a podcast with commentator Chris Josephs on his podcast, and he said this about you, Dan.
Tell us about my all-time favorite member of Congress, Dan Crenshaw.
Yeah. So he's a tough one. He's a hothead on Twitter now.
He's out of control.
Yeah, I don't understand why he's taken this stance a little bit.
Because I think his personal life is out of control.
Yeah, because he used to be like a right-wing darling. Like he was, with the Navy SEALs, I think early on. Again,
not with me. I always thought he was a freak and a warmonger.
Really? Yeah.
Weirdo, yeah. He's a freak and a warmonger weirdo, but yeah.
He's showing it now.
Dan, your response to being a freak, a warmonger, and a weirdo.
Yeah, well, this is typical for Tucker. Tucker has no actual substance, right? He's been attacking me since 2022.
Really?
When he became obsessed with me. I live rent-free in that little mongrel's head. And people ask me all the time, like, why does he hate you? And I'm like, the fact that you can't answer that question is indicative of the fact that he has no actual substance. See, I can tell you why Mehdi disagrees with me. I can tell you why Mehdi doesn't like me. At least he has, I disagree with them all, but at least he has things that he disagrees with me on. Tucker never actually says anything. It's just insults. He'll use my war wound to insult me. He's a weird, bad guy. I mean, and people should not be tricked by his supposed stance against the DC insider elites, right? Because he literally is that. You know, he's begged us to go on his show since that time. We said, look, why don't you how about a moderated debate? And he said, oh no, I'm not going to do that. So you know, he's not. I don't think he's a very serious person. I think he used to be. Don't see that anymore, right? It's like I'm out of control on Twitter because every once in a while I respond harshly to lies told about me. Yeah, I just don't take it lying down. Yeah, that's me. No, I apologize to no one for it.
Somebody said that we're starting to sound like Mean Girls.
How? What did we say?
I said we need to tone it down. Get Back said, tone it down, ladies, starting to sound like Mean Girls. No, I'm not going to do that. Not with Dan Crenshaw, because he'd manipulated a video of ours to make it sound
maybe
like
they mean about Meghan. Is it about Meghan Markle that they said that?
Maybe, but I won't tone it down about her either.
No, because she's the one that does demanded privacy for so long.
Actually,
oh my God.
I'm not going to tone it down about anything because it's my freaking show.
Wait, let me get it.
Yeah. So there will be no toning down.
Don't tell us what to do.
Exactly.
Tucker responded after that and said, I give up. We have asked this guy many times to have a direct conversation. He won't come without a bodyguard. Pathetic. But honestly, I'd still like to hire him as a financial advisor. He's the man you need picking your stocks in a bear market.
Yeah. And he wants a raise too. Remember? He wants a raise. He thinks he's entitled to a raise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Piece of crap. This guy. Also, you should Google Eddie Gallagher. You want to learn more about Dan Crenshaw.
Oh, yeah.
Google
he's got quite a history. Quite a history.
Guy is such a jerk. He's no business representing Texans. No business. Get him out of there.
We got a lot of weirdos in Texas, man.
We do. We got to get him out of there. We got to get a lot of these people out of there. Jasmine, him. Who's Al? Is it Al Green?
Yeah, there's
the werewolf.
There's just a lot.
Got to get the werewolf out of there. So many. Yeah.
All right, it is time for some My Pillow Talks. And first, I did not know this. I've never noticed this when I had a cat for many, many years. I never noticed this, but apparently, you know how you learned not terribly long ago that when cats see birds or squirrels outside, they do that sound.
Yes.
Well, apparently they do it in reaction or in response to human sneezes also, which I did not know. I never noticed that when I had a cat. But there's a lot of this going on, enough that there's a montage about it. Check this out.
Oh my gosh. What? Do you guys have cats that do this?
I just never noticed this.
I need to get a cat just for this. It is a little creepy, but also awesome. Oh my God, I love it. I want a red cat. They're the craziest. I think they're the craziest, aren't they? The orange cats, I mean. They're so cute. I need one.
Why did they do that? I did not know they did not.
You guys have never seen this either? I think I need an orange cat because I heard they're the craziest. I need the craziest cat that money can buy. Right?
Also have a montage of dogs falling asleep. And I use the word falling with particular emphasis.
Okay. Oh my God. Another one's so pissed. Oh, I'm so tired. Oh, bless his little heart. Oh my God, that's the best.
Wow.
What? I'm not falling asleep. It's fine.
want to be that blissed out, you know?
Oh, right?
So great.
It's time to.
Just like that.
Don't want to.
Oh
Why is this not fun? Did I freeze?
Yeah, you froze for a second. You froze for just a second. In the middle of a snore. You froze for just a second. In the middle of a snore. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
So Rose said, this is known as barcolepsy. I love it.
I think there's just a couple more before we get to the last one, which is so cute. So you might see a couple more dog things because I don't know why I froze the way that I did. But the last thing is the sweetest thing ever. So apparently a mama duck built a nest inside of an elementary school. And when her ducklings hatched, the school made sure that all of the kiddos would get to line up in the hallways and watch the mama duck lead her babies outside. And everyone behaved so well, you guys.
Oh my gosh.
So a couple more dogs first and then that. Look at this.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
They're all so quiet and good.
And mama doesn't know where to go. Does mama not know where to go?
I think they kind of help her. Like they walk towards her to lead her out the right way.
Oh my gosh. That is the sweetest thing. Just so precious.
I love how tightly they follow behind her. You know what I mean?
That is just the sweetest thing. Look at all the kids. And they just knew that it was going to be like on that day, that particular, that's just the sweetest thing. Bye-bye, kids. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for housing my nest.
Oh, my gosh.
Good job, guys.
Like, oh my gosh, we got to see that. It was so, that's just the cutest thing.
Love that. God, I love that so much.
This is green. I mean, you can still pinch me virtually, but I promise you, it's like army green. It is.
It is. You could tell a lot more when it wasn't as light outside.
Right. It is green. I promise. Yeah, it is.
We have a thank you on Venmo from Andrea Justice, who says, thank you, jerks, for starting my 56th birthday with smiles, laughter, and a boingy headband. You can speak for this Indiana chick any day. Thank you so much for that. And now
I love it. Oh, now me. Okay. Patrick Connolly, an Irish blessing for you both. May you be poor in misfortune, but rich in blessing, slow to make enemies and quick to make friends, but rich or poor, quick or slow, may you both know nothing but happiness from this day. That is so sweet,
I
Patrick.
love that.
So sweet. Thank you. Jamie Hill, Daisy, the reason the speed limit is lower in Florida is because people all go 30 miles per hour over whatever is posted, and those lane hoggers, snowbirds or transplants from other states, glad you visited and glad you're back. Actually, they were going under in a lot of places.
Because I was like, old people that are afraid of highways.
Yeah, and I was like, what are you doing? And actually in Texas, we go about 10 miles over the speed limit here too. So the average speed is about 90 miles an hour. And I am there for it. BTK, Dems want votes. They don't care about any people. Trump must legally declare that all illegal aliens will never become citizens under any circumstances. I can get on board with that. I can. Jose Rodriguez, morning from Texas, and welcome back, Daisy. Thank you. It's good to be here. The SMOD needs to pinpoint AI. What's that?
I don't know.
What's the SMOD? What is SMOD?
SMOD.
I don't know. What am I missing? I don't know. I know I'm not, my brain isn't functioning properly. This, just saying, now take my money. I don't know what SMOD is.
I don't know what that is either.
Aaron Krieger, don't tone it down, ladies. Turn it all the way up. Take my money, jerks. We're turning it up to 11. That's right. Aaron. Thank you. Stephanie Mum, calling on my COTR fam for prayers. We are experiencing for the first time ever the heartbreak it is to send a doggo to the Rainbow Bridge. Our Bella girl, a yellow lab, 12 years, 15 days old. We sent her home to heaven on March 1st. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I can absolutely relate. It is. It is. Sorry, Stephanie.
So sad.
But we have the prayer people to definitely pray for you. So
And it's a dog loving community.
Oh my gosh, these are your people. Yep. Because they will lift you up. You guys, happy St. Patrick's Day. Make sure you got your green on or you're going to get your butt pinched. And we will talk to you tomorrow. I'm so glad to be back. Yay! Happy Monday. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Hello, beautiful people. This is the Chicks on the Right's Indian correspondent. Thank you for watching or listening. Be very sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on all of their delicious content. Okay, thank you. Come again.